of the moon. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Let's get started this thing. Let's get started. Did you know the moon itself does not produce its own light and is not a light source? The reason the moon lights up at night is because it's actually the reflection of the sun. This means that the light from the sun bounces off its back to Earth. Oh, that's a fact. Rotation of the moon. The moon rotates on its own axis, as does the Earth. Earth also orbits around the sun. In fact, it takes the same amount of time to rotate as it does to orbit the Earth once. As a result, we see many different phases of the moon depending on where the sun, Earth, and moon are positioned. Why do we see the same side of the moon? Have you ever noticed that the moon always looks the same? Sure, the phases of the moon changes, but the actual features of the moon always look the same from month to month. This because the moon's rotation and orbit take the same amount of time. As a result, we always see the same face of its moon no matter what time of the month we look at it. The Earth and the moon. The moon is the Earth's only permanent satellite. It takes approximately 27 for 1 day and 3 days for the moon to complete a full rotation on its axis. However, a lunar month is 29.5 days from full moon to full moon. The moon. Why is the calendar month not 27 days? It is due to the fact that at the same time the moon is orbiting the Earth is also orbiting the sun. This means the positions of the Earth, Sun, and Moon are constantly changing. Due to this continual movement of the Earth in its orbit around the Sun, it always takes an extra 2 days for the Moon to go from one full moon to the next. Phases of the moon. There are 8 main phases of the moon. I actually have a space book and I read about this. Phases of the moon. New moon. The moon's unilluminated side is facing the Earth. This makes the new moon barely visible. This place occurs when the sun, Earth, and moon are aligned with the moon positions. Yeah, I know what the new moon is. Like it's like a full moon, but it's different. Waxing crescents. The moon now reflects some of the sun's light and becomes visible again. Less than half of the moon is illuminated. It occurs after new moon. Yeah, so like when it's new moon time, when new moon time is done, after that it becomes waxing crescents time. First quarter. This moon phase is visible when the moon reaches the first quarter of its orbit around the Earth. One half of the moon appears to be illuminated. Yeah, like illuminates. Hey, what's illuminate again? Waxing gibbous. The visibility of the moon is getting bigger. More than half of the moon is now illuminated, but what we can see is still smaller than a full moon. Yeah, a full moon is different. It looks like a new moon, but it's different. A new moon is darker, but The full moon is lighter. That's the difference about it. Now here's the full moon. The moon's illuminated side is facing Earth. This means the moon appears to be completely illuminated by direct sunlight. It occurs when the moon is on the opposite side of Earth than the sun. Yeah, it's on like the completely different side than the sun. Waning gibbous. This phase occurs after the full moon. The size that of the moon that is visible begins to decrease. The moon appears to be more than 1/2 illuminated, but not fully illuminated by direct sunlight. Third quarter. This phase of the moon is the opposite view of the first quarter moon. 1/2 of the moon appears to be illuminated by direct sunlight. So, yeah, the light part used to be on the other side and the dark part used to be on the other side. But now it's just turned around for the third quarter. Waning crescents. This is the last phase of the moon before the cycle repeats. Less than 1/2 of the moon is illuminated by direct sunlight. It appears in the sky almost like the shape of a fingernail. Yeah, so it's the complete opposite of the other crescents. That crescent was on the other side, and this crescent was on the other side. What is an eclipse? An eclipse occurs when one celestial body, such as a moon or planet, moves into the shadow of another celestial body. There are 2 types of eclipses on Earth. A solar eclipse. That's the only one that I know. It looks like the moon is covering it. Solar eclipse. A solar eclipse will occur when the moon blocks the light from the sun and casts a shadow in space. This happens when the moon is positions between the sun and the earth, as we saw in the new moon phase. In order to get a solar eclipse, the sun, moon, and earth must be in perfectly alignment. Normally, the moon's shadow misses the earth. If the sun is blocked out by the moon, it appears black. If the moon blocks out the whole sun, it is called a total eclipse. If the moon only blocks out part of the sun, it is called a partial eclipse. Whoa, it's completely covered. If it's completely covered, it's called a total eclipse. Lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse will occur when the Earth blocks the light from the sun and casts a shadow in space. Sometimes the shadow falls on the moon, causing an ellipse of the moon. This doesn't happen every month, just like with solar eclipses. There are total lunar eclipses and partial lunar eclipses, depending on how much of the moon passes through the Earth's shadow. As the moon passes through the Earth's shadow, the lit parts of the moon get progressively smaller and darker. During a lunar eclipse, the moon does not turn black, but a reddish color. This is sometimes referred to as a blood moon. So that is it for the phases of the moon. Bye. And thank you for listening, everybody. So bye, and remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you next time.